There we are. Hi, YouTube. And hi, Rumble people. Hello. Yeah, it was freaking cool, man. It was really neat. And yes, don't you worry, I haven't forgot you. I did at first. I will grant you stuff. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh no, where's all my notifications? But no, Steph is now posting, thank goodness, for all of our sake, from the PSP account. So that all of you fine people out there can benefit from her news gathering talents. Shut up. Here we go. Yeah, go give the official PSP X account a follow, because Steph is going to be using that for her collection of daily news, so that not just blind me, but any host can just kind of come in here for material. Oh yeah, got plenty to look at. Very good. Gotta, darn it, drop a link. Why is it not this way? I'll be like this. All right. Yeah, everyone go give that a follow. Yeah, let me go down to the bottom of the pile. Thereabouts. We'll get going. Finally, after a week. There we go. All right. Well, boy, I have to say, I can't remember the last time I felt so, like, lost. I don't even know what happened last week. Hardly. Literally, like, nothing. Completely out the loop. Wasn't a bad feeling, though, I guess. It was kind of nice to just drop the news a little bit. Work a mindless labor job, you know. Actually kind of nice. U.S. military planes land in Beijing, China ahead of Trump visit. Oh, he's going to China, huh? What? I have to adjust the speakers on that. Ooh. Subwoofer down too. Okay. TNT none. 1027 says had to come here to YouTube to watch. Rumble went bye-bye on my PC. Yeah, every time a reset is done each morning, the previous feed of the previous day will end. Not like it used to work on DLive, where it'll just reset and you can stay on the same page and keep watching even after the reset. You have to go pick up the fresh feed every morning. So you have to go back to the PSB page, like the main page, click the PSB news name, and then you'll see the new live feed every morning. Yeah. An unfortunate thing. I wish it would work the way it used to, but whatever. C'est la vie. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if that was your issue or not, TNT Anon, but if that's it, there you go. If not, I wish I knew how to help you. Right, yeah, Rumble can be a bit weird there. they're still trying to find their legs and get all their stuff debugged and functioning well. Doing a reasonable job, I think. It could be better, of course. But I'll drop the link out there. Anyone that was missing it. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, Spirit. Wow. So that's one thing I did not miss. We all witnessed the death. Spirit Airlines gone. Ran itself into the ground, so to speak.
Spirit Airlines, this affects 17 employees and thousands of...
Last clip.
Airlines, this affects 17,000 employees and thousands of contractors. They have officially ceased all operations. They're out of business. Their entire fleet's grounded. All the flights were canceled and effective immediately.
If you ever flew Spirit Airlines more than once or twice, you probably understand exactly why this is happening.
Can't believe, I guess you guys covered this weekend, Charlie. But
worst airline I've ever flown on, bar none.
They were known as basically a consumer-friendly.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it was.
They weren't supposed to be nice. They were Spirit Airlines. They're supposed to be the budget guys, but I mean, it was bad. It was really freaking bad.
A little cheaper.
Yeah, a little cheaper.
Like,
$1 billion per.
Nasty customer service people that can't even speak English, kind of bad. Like, is in full-blown Ebonics, kind of bad.
Year in consumer savings. We're trying to stay alive for the last couple of years. They thought it would be a great idea to merge with JetBlue and thought it would be a good idea financially. And most analysts
you can thank Liz Warren for that, I hear. That would have saved them. And countless jobs, probably ended up being a great company for JetBlue. And for all of us. Would have been a great thing for all of us, for travelers everywhere. Now we get our, regional flight prices jacked up through the roof.
Would be a great idea, except
because there's no shitty Spirit Airlines competitor to keep them low. Wow.
Pete Buttigieg. And Pete Buttigieg said that's not a good idea. Joe Biden says, yeah, I agree. They go, we want more options for people, but they don't understand.
And by more options, we mean less.
Understand the word bankruptcy. They're saying, even though they touched bankruptcy a couple of times prior, they said for our long-term solvency, we're better off merging because we're worried about our future. And they struck it down. And now 2 years later, they're done. So how are you helping the consumer now?
Yep. Their existence was the only thing holding prices down in a lot of these routes, it sounds like, because like the next best option is going to be like double the price in a lot of, or more, I think, in a lot of these unfortunately affected areas. Some places, I think they were like the only available provider. So to get equivalent travel, people are now going to have to take, like connecting flights, and instead of a straight shot, of course, can get pricey, depending on how far out of the way you're going, where you're going. Sucks. Spirit sucked, but this probably sucks worse.
There's a hole in
this was nuts. I did see this last night. Yeah, this delivery driver getting clipped by a Boeing 767. He just rolling down a highway. He just singing his song. Oh, what's that? Can you imagine hearing that shit, man?
The owner.
Oh! Yeah, that was like mere inches away from taking his freaking head off. He survived, apparently, with relatively minor injuries. That's so insane. Yeah, the plane,
Wow,
came in way too low, chopped a light pole, and then nailed him.
The owner of that truck's logistics company confirming to Fox that the truck driver was hospitalized with minor injuries caused by broken glass.
How do you get through that with minor injuries? That's the part that really blows my mind. Like, look at that. That thing got demolished, man. Ugh. Aw, Rudy Giuliani, hospitalized in critical condition. What happened? Critical but stable. We ask that you join us in prayer for America's mayor. The deal. Yeah, last year suffered broken vertebrae. Can't be that. Heart attack or something. Hope he's alright. Oh, there's Trump tweeting about it. Our fabulous Rudy Giuliani, a true warrior and the best mayor in the history of New York City by far, has been hospitalized and is in critical condition. What a tragedy that he was treated so badly by the radical left lunatics, Democrats all. And he was right about everything. They cheated on the elections, fabricated hundreds of stories, did anything possible to destroy our nation. And now look at Rudy. So sad. So sad. Governor DeSantis drops Hakeem Jeffries? Mike drops, pardon. Hakeem Jeffries.
Around you, we gonna do maximum warfare against Republicans.
Oh my God, what is he doing?
Republicans, you F around, you gonna find out all this stuff.
Is he job talking? Or trying to, but then just like sounding like he's just kind of sounds like a retard. Of course, maybe that's the idea.
Maximum warfare against Republicans. Florida Republicans, you F around, you gonna find out all this stuff. And you know what I said was, listen, and he's like, oh, if you do the redistricting, we're going to take out all your members. We're going to do all this stuff.
We're going to take out all your members.
Said was, go ahead.
I don't think that's how the job talks there, Rob.
You don't think we're going to... You want to come down here and spend money in Florida? We're going to do maximum...
We're going to do maximum warfare.
Against Republicans.
I don't know what he was going for. It's bizarre. I think he's going for jive talk, but kind of came out a little lopsided.
100 cargo ships and tankers and their 20,000 crew members safe.
CENTCOM confirms Iran has not successfully struck any Navy ships this morning.
Project Freedom launched this morning. The president calls it a humanitarian effort to safely guide some 800 cargo ships and tankers and their 20,000 crew members safely out of the Strait of Hormuz. The president says these stranded ships are running out of food and supplies and are merely neutral bystanders in this whole thing. In a very lengthy Truth Social post, President Trump went on to say, for the good of Iran, the Middle East, and the United States, we've told these countries that we will guide their ships safely out of these restricted waterways so that they can freely and ably get on with their business. The ship movement is merely meant to free up people, companies, and countries that have done absolutely nothing wrong. They are victims of circumstance. This is a humanitarian gesture on behalf of the U.S., Middle Eastern countries, but in particular, the country of Iran. The president warned Iran that any interference with this humanitarian mission will be, quote, dealt with forcefully. CENTCOM says guided missile destroyers, over 100 land and sea-based aircraft, and 15,000 service members are supporting this mission. Project Freedom is described as a coordination and information sharing effort to help guide these ships safely through the Strait of Hormuz. The Wall Street Journal reports U.S. Navy ships will not be escorting ships through the strait. The head of Iran's parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee is, quote, warning any American interference in the new maritime regime of the Strait of Hormuz will be considered a violation of the ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf would not be managed by Trump's delusional posts. No one would believe blame game scenarios. The UK military says the U.S. has now established an enhanced security area for ships via Oman's territorial waters south of where traffic usually transits in the Strait of Hormuz. The UK warns that the security level, though, remains critical in the strait. Yesterday, an oil tanker was attacked, hit by unknown projectiles north of the UAE. And just before that, a cargo ship was attacked by multiple small boats near the coast of Iran. All crews are safe. Meanwhile, in a signed diplomatic negotiations may be heading in the right direction with Iran. The U.S. returned a seized Iranian container ship, the Tuska, back to Iran. Its 22 crew members.
Heard enough about that thing.
Are in Pakistan. They're being flown to Iran today.
Be just fine if I never heard that word again.
This morning, the president calls it.
Did we just? I think we just. Yeah. We're meeting with small business owners at the White House to celebrate Small Business Week. Is it Small Business Week this week? Dang, that's pretty okay.
President Trump today to small business owners set to meet with President Trump today to celebrate American enterprise and the award of Small Business Administration's Person of the Year, Business Person of the Year. Joining me now is U.S. Small Business Administrator Kelly Loeffler. Kelly, great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. And you heard what the Treasury Secretary told us about the equipment write-offs and this CapEx boom. Are you seeing that from small businesses as well?
Absolutely, Maria. Look, this working family tax cuts was all about Main Street. That's what President Trump designed, was a bill for hardworking Americans, our small business owners, their employees, the factory workers, no tax on tip, no tax on overtime. But what it meant to small business is that they now have the benefit of thousands of dollars of tax relief to reinvest in their business, to grow and hire. And we know that small businesses create most new jobs across America. We just had a blockbuster jobs report last month, 186,000 new jobs. That's what tax cuts do for hardworking small business owners. I see it every day. I travel across the country nonstop. Every small business owner, factory owner points at what building he built, the big, beautiful building, because of the tax cuts, or how many more workers they're going to hire because of that tax relief. I believe it.
I think people are really going to start seeing it every year.
That's what President Trump fought for and delivered in just his first year, and we're
might
just
not be
starting.
Too visible to the general public just yet, but I think money's going to start flowing.
To see the benefits of that.
Fraud Division announced its new West Coast strike force to aggressively combat healthcare fraud in the region.
Are now looking to California, and I know here at the DOJ you guys actually had some announcements in California and about California this week, if you wouldn't mind kind of bringing us up to speed.
Oh, and just really quick, sorry, I just saw that roll in. It sounds like Rudy's issue, allegedly lung problems. They had him on a vent. Yeah, it could be from at least semi-related to 9/11. Yeah. Breathing in all that shit. God knows he's out there on the ground more than most. would have been in his position, you know.
That's right. So we have announced a strike force team that we are placing in the Northern District of California, in the District of Nevada, and in the District of Arizona. And this will be 10 or so additional prosecutors on top of the teams that we already have in place. They will be responsible for rooting out, in particular, healthcare fraud that is rampant in these districts. Our decision making for where to scale these resources is driven by data. And we look to the data to see where are the soft spots, where are the places where criminals are exploiting and hiding behind the cloak of healthcare to commit fraud. And these 3 jurisdictions have been identified as places that we really need to put some quick focus on. We have additional strike force teams across the country as well that are combating this problem, in addition to a significant presence that we've placed in the District of Minnesota.
What are now?
Okay. Whoa, man. That's kind of sad and honest. That's, you know what? That's just terrifying. Yeah, that thing could like seriously hurt someone. Yeah, like watch out, man. That thing will roundhouse kick you in the chin if you're not careful. But keep dancing, Chinese ladies. Everything is fine. God. They tried to put it in kung fu mode, but it just was having a bad day. Yeah, that could be dangerous though. Frick. Only a matter of time, man. Someone's gonna get hurt.
Mail-in ballot results near Arcadia Lake. Officials say the area, which is just 13 miles north of Oklahoma City, is known to be a hotbed for social gatherings. Police say there's currently no suspects in custody. The investigation is ongoing.
Is this the was it like a trailer park or something? Like a mobile home? Something or other?
Ballots are being sent out across California today as early voting results near Arcadia Lake. Officials say.
But I saw something about that last night. Okay, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says that uncontrolled migration puts citizens' security under pressure. Affects the economy, weakens competitiveness, affects the quality of countries' democracies, and that migration is an integral part of the polycrisis.
Straining public resources and impacting on labor market, it weakens competitiveness. This weakens competitiveness by increasing uncertainty and social tensions. It has also linked to energy, for we have also to face the fact that many flows come from unstable regions that are key to our energy supplies. Ultimately, all of this affects the quality of our democracies. For when citizens feel that important challenges are not governed, they lose faith in institutions. And when trust erodes, people become more vulnerable to manipulation, including the malicious use of artificial intelligence. So it's not migration. It is migration, it is economy, it is democracy, it is competitiveness, it is energy, it is security. And if I take one of the other topics, I can link them all the same way. So, first of all, we cannot face only one piece of this polycrisis. Second, migration is an integral part of the polycrisis. Third, no one can face it alone. So cooperation on that is a precondition.
Blanche on Comey. Ooh. Yeah, I saw he got indicted again, yeah?
the post the same day, and he wrote, quote, "I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down."
Anybody buy that load of bullshit?
How do you prove intent, Mr. Blanche, when Mr. Comey himself said he didn't understand that some people would look at that and think about violence?
You prove intent like you always prove intent. You prove intent with witnesses. You prove intent with documents, with materials. So again, this is not just about a single Instagram post. This is about a body of evidence that the grand jury collected over the series of about 11 months. That evidence was presented to the grand jury, and it's not the government, it's not the Department of Justice, it's not Todd Blanche that returned an indictment against James Comey. It's a grand jury, part of the judicial process, and that this process has to be allowed to play out in the courts. It's not fair to Mr. Comey. It's certainly not fair to the prosecutors for us to be airing your view or my view of this indictment. It's something that will be presented in court at the time set by the judge.
Well, let's delve a little deeper. Conservative legal scholar Jonathan Turley said, quote, "This indictment is facially unconstitutional, absent some unknown new facts." Are you in fact saying that there are facts beyond this Instagram post that clearly establish an intent to threaten the president's life?
I've said repeatedly, this was an investigation that lasted 11 months. If the only facts that existed was the posting of the Instagram, obviously that wouldn't have taken 11 months. And so when Mr. Turley talks about whether
clearly something more going on here,
facially unconstitutional, absent unknown facts or circumstances, we will necessarily have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt at trial every element of this crime, which we're prepared to do.
Can you?
To victory with jockey Jose Ortiz at the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. And what a race it was. The 23-1 long shot was in last place, then charged down the stretch to beat the entire field.
Golden tempo.
But that's not the only reason the race made history. Golden Tempo's trainer is a woman.
Oh boy, here we go. My goodness gracious. All right, I think we've seen enough. Seriously. In 2 months, America turns 250. Let's see.
After 250 years, the American experiment still isn't finished. It's been built, tested, carried forward, and fought for. And we passed it on, hand to hand, life to life. Generations ago, ordinary people risked everything to begin it. 250 years later, the work continues, because freedom is worth it. This year, America turns 250. After 250.
Russia has sharply tightened security around Putin as fears rise of an assassination attempt involving drones. Drone warfare is fucking brutal, man. It's nasty. Nasty business. Most humanizing. Just, I don't even have the words for it. Terrible. Regular warfare is bad enough, but there's something just so inherently wrong. Just like there's just, I can't even say why exactly, but there's something wrong, really wrong, with drone warfare. The way it works, it is so. Watching that footage, it is rough in ways that regular warfare is not. I mean, something just form of these little things that can hunt you and track you by your identity, even heat signature. Float up there, waiting. Even they don't even have to float. They could just land on top of a building or something and just sit there and watch and wait. Like it's just terrifying. I don't even want to think about it, man. Enough. Had the best day visiting Mount Vernon and learning about George Washington. Who dis? Fox News lady.
21 rooms, a grand staircase, touching the banister that George Washington touched, and a piazza overlooking the Potomac. Before there was ever a White House, there was Mount Vernon, the plantation estate of George and Martha Washington in Virginia.
You know, he's self-educated.
And we got a private tour from director Doug Bradburn, who takes us inside where the first president lived and worked.
So his father dies when he's 10 years old. And so he only has reading, writing, and arithmetic at a basic level. He never gets to go to a proper school to become a gentleman. And so, you know, everything he learns by reading and by doing. You think about our two greatest presidents, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, neither of them went to college.
What do you think he would have thought about King Charles of England visiting?
I mean, I think it would have, obviously would have blown him away. After the American Revolutionary War, he was very clear that he thought peace with England was in the greatest interest of the United States.
The first couple enjoyed hosting at the estate.
We have a recording they had over 680 people stay in that house in 1 year.
But entertaining may have contributed to Washington's death. So, Doug, we're standing in the master bedroom, and this is actually where George Washington passed away, right? Tell me about that fateful day.
Yeah, it's a powerful story and a great room. This is the bed that he actually died in. And, you know, it's an incredible thing because he every day would ride out across his estate. He had 8,000 acres here at Mount Vernon. So in a typical morning, he went down, got on his horse, rode around. In this case, it was December 13th. He rode out across his estate, got rained on, sleeted on, and he got back to the house, and there were guests here, and he didn't want them to wait to have their big meal, so he sat down still in his wet clothes. And so that evening, he started feeling a little ill, a little sore throat, and it just got worse and worse.
George Washington died from a throat infection at 67 years old. Not far from the house, down a dirt path, is George and Martha's final resting place. Now, I was always told he was supposed to be buried at the Capitol. What happened?
The Congress asked the President of the United States, John Adams, to ask Martha Washington if he could be buried in the new Capitol building.
The heck no.
And she said she would because he always served his country, but she would only allow it if she was allowed to be with him. And so she was intended to be there as well. She passes away in 1801.
Oh, what happened?
The bodies are never moved to the Capitol.
While our nation's founding father will
quite a place to go.
Never meet the thousands of Americans who visit his tomb every year. I now make it my earnest prayer that God would have you and the state over which you preside. You can't help but feel a tangible connection to him.
It is a really amazing place. So cool. Highly recommend going. If you're ever on this side of the country, if you're from the other side, this is like something to go see. It's really
through a nation born not of a single man, but a shared
like going
belief.
back in time. It's and they do a really excellent job of it. Yeah, they run it excellent for the most part, with some woke-tarded exceptions in history, of course. But generally speaking, it's a really cool. Time-lapse footage captured a full flower moon over a lighthouse in New Hampshire. idea. I don't know the flower moon. Pretty though.
Brian, good morning. Brian, good morning. He is fighting. That's the word coming from a spokesman for Rudy Giuliani. The former mayor of New York City has been hospitalized and is said to be in critical but stable condition. That's about all we know about his health at this time. A political strategist who was close to Giuliani wrote this on X. Mayor Giuliani is a fighter who has faced every challenge in his life with unwavering strength, and he's fighting with that same level of strength as we speak. Now, as well as guiding New York City through the aftermath of 9/11, Giuliani became a fierce and sometimes controversial advocate for President Trump. Former New York City Mayor Eric Adams wrote this on X. Mayor Rudy Giuliani devoted his life to this city, from his days as a federal prosecutor to leading New York through 9/11. He was there when we needed him most. I'm praying for Rudy and his family and hoping for a full recovery. We shared a cigar in Florida not too long ago. I'm saving one for when you're back home, my friend.
Sounds bad. Huh. The United States is in the process of replacing the, yeah, it has been, I guess it has been service for a long time. Wow. 60-year-old Minuteman III nuclear missile. New Sentinel.
It's just a short helicopter ride from F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming to where hundreds of nuclear missiles lie below the surface. We got an exclusive look into a world designed to destroy worlds.
We have 400 of them with the simple Minuteman III weapons. So there's always 400 ready to go at any given moment. There's always approximately 400
ready to go means modernizing. The United States is currently replacing the 60-year-old Minuteman III with the new Sentinel missile.
There'll be 3 missiles here someday, hopefully.
Admiral Rich Carrell and General S.L. Davis are leading the operation.
It's bigger, it's faster, it has a longer range, and it can carry more payload.
Well, dang. Show me this thing. LGM-35A Sentinel. Placing them. Anticipated fully by the early 2030s. The program has faced significant cost overruns exceeding $141 billion with a B dollars. Good God. That is nuts. I mean, important technology, sure, but it's a lot of money. So how does it compare to the Minuteman? Maybe they'll tell us here in the video.
The Sentinel will be much more reliable. What message does Sentinel send to America's adversaries? For any potential adversary that would look at us and wish to do us harm, I'd want them to look at the Sentinel and say,
no. So how much did 120 billion? How much did that shit buy us? We get. Okay. No, I want like hard stats. Stupid AI. I don't know how much better it is. What? Wrong crap.
A big undertaking as China, Russia, and North Korea advance their own nuclear programs.
For the average American, what kind of upgrade is this? Some of the upgrades are in safety and security. Some of the upgrades are with how we actually do some of these complex missile handling tasks. America will be safer. Absolutely.
on the ground at Echo 10 in eastern Wyoming, we descend into a demobilized nuclear silo in the bygone era.
For Sentinel, we're looking at a door system where you could actually walk through a door as opposed to have to crawl down on a ladder lower.
This is a Minuteman III nuclear silo. It has been decommissioned. All this stuff will eventually go, but to give you a scale of how big these missiles are, look down in the tube. It goes down for several stories. This is a 60-foot missile. The upgrade isn't cheap. Sentinel requires new silos. The project is currently 80% over budget, costing U.S. taxpayers roughly $141 billion. And it's years behind schedule.
Critics would say, why are we spending so much money on a weapon system we never use?
We use it every single day. Deterrence is active, right? The absence of action on the part of the adversary to do us harm is employment of that system.
But that's still years away. The military hopes to roll Sentinel out completely by 2040.
That long away, huh? What? Boy, I've missed this one. DC activists remain perched atop the 168-foot Frederick Douglass Bridge for a third day, doing a protest against the war in Iran and artificial intelligence. Oh, wow, double whammy. Protesting the war and AI.
It's normal. Hands off Iran. We came here today in solidarity with Guido and all other pro-humanity. That none of this is normal. Hands off Iran.
So, doesn't it get cold up there? They like bring a sleeping bag?
This won't be a big deal. It'll end up getting picked up, you know, by Fox News or something, Breitbart, and that wasn't what happened.
Collusion between FBI and Twitter, at the time Twitter, to censor the Hunter Biden laptop story. Worse than I remembered.
Happened at all.
What?
What did you expect to happen?
I expected like conservative media to like pick it up. I was like, yeah, like I went through my social media. I was like, there's something weird. There's something wrong here. There's something weird here. You know, this won't be a big deal. It'll end up getting picked up, you know, by Fox News or something, Breitbart. And that wasn't what happened at all. As it turned out, the CIA was upset.
Yeah, I bet. A little upset. So, nobody did pick it up, at least for a long time. And then by that time, what did it mean?
Well, I think that there was a bit of a Streisand effect actually about it. Like, I think that if it would have been how I predicted, where just conservative media kind of talks about it, you know, you pick it up and talk about it, it would have been like a conservative media echo chamber, conspiracy theory, Benghazi, whatever, you know, thing that the left just dismisses. But because Twitter, so what happened, to refresh the audience's memory, I'm sure that they, you know, are familiar with this, but what happened was we published at 5 a.m. by like 7 a.m. latest. It was completely blacklisted on Twitter to the extent that we found out later it was
2 hours.
Yeah,
2 hours.
Within 2 hours, it was classified as child porn internally. So if you like sent it in a private, like if I DM'd you privately the link, it would disable, as it would if you were, you know, sending something criminal. So we found out again later that the reason why it was so immediate and so severe was because the FBI was briefing Twitter executives on a story that might publish around the election about Hunter. and what to do in that circumstance, because it's disinformation, we promise.
And that is because they had it.
Yeah, they had it. The FBI had the laptop.
How long did they have it?
Months. They had it from before the first impeachment, which was in January, before COVID. They know I was publishing September after COVID.
Huh. That's the girl who broke this story for New York Post. Oh. Kash Patel talking about the FISA warrants.
It took me 2 years of my life to prove the following: that a political party in the United States of America in the 21st century would go overseas and hire some bogus intelligence asset to manufacture fraudulent, fake, unverified information, funnel that to not just the intelligence community, but the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and then take those packaged lies that they had paid for with campaign finance funds and go into a secret surveillance court and illegally spy on your opponent to be the next president of the United States. I think that was 45 seconds. That took 2 years of my life. And what did we find out? The FISA court themselves came back and said these warrants were illegal, that the FBI did not provide evidence of exculpatory evidence and innocence, and that the FBI essentially lied in those applications. It took me 2 years of my life to prove the following: that a political party in the United States of America in the 21st century would go overseas and hire some bogus intelligence asset to manufacture fraudulent, fake, unverified information, funnel that to not just the intelligence community, but the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and then take those packaged lies that they had paid for with campaign finance funds and go into a secret surveillance court and illegally spy on your opponent to be the next president of the United States. I think that was 45 seconds. That took 2 years of my life. And what did we find out? The FISA court themselves came back and said these warrants were illegal, that the FBI did not provide evidence of exculpatory evidence and innocence, and that the FBI essentially lied in those applications. It took me 2 years of my life.
Oh, wow. Eagles surging into the UK. Bill.
25
Fresh off the boat.
الخامس يوم 3 نفرات ابو حسين العراقي من دانكير الى بريطانيا مع حماية خفر السواحل. 25 شهر الخامس يوم
Really? Pope Leo to meet Rubio on Thursday. The spat still going on, or what? Border agents arresting 1,000 child sex offenders in Tampa area over the span of 4 months. It. I mean, it's a short time span. Geez, 1,000 Tampa alone. Ugh. Yeah, the Cole Allen case. What is the latest on that? Freaking White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting guy.
As we go forward, there will be more that will be released. But at this point, we've released everything we needed for the detention. We will be going into the grand jury. May 8th is a preliminary hearing scheduled. But as things become more public, we are more than happy to be transparent.
Is there more video?
The public. There will be more video.
Okay,
yes.
but from after they run out of frame?
Yes.
Okay. In the surveillance video that you posted on social media, we see this officer with a canine, with a dog, stop in a doorway that the suspect had just walked through. The police dog seemed to have an idea that something was on the other end of that door. The officer tugs him back. I'm not finding fault with the officer. But then seconds later, they walk away. The suspect runs out. charging through the dinner with a rifle in his hand. What exactly happened there, and what's on the other side of those doors?
Well, apparently the defendant, and we know that he had been casing the hotel while he was in the hotel. We have video, and you will see that because we've been very transparent with the evidence. But he goes into that room to take off a long coat that he has on.
So that's a room on the other side?
That's a room, and he discards the coat. He's wearing a long dark coat because he has to hide the Mossberg pump-action shotgun. And he takes the coat off. As soon as he does, he comes out like a bat out of hell to start to approach what's going on there. You talk about the dog. I'm not an expert with dogs, but my understanding is that...
You have 4 dogs, though.
I do, and so you have many yourself. We were talking about that. This dog, as I understand it, is a bomb dog. Oh. It's a bomb detection dog. But as we get more information, we'll be clearer. Again, it's a fluid situation. Yeah. More will come out.
Huh. Okay.
Well, we have been able to determine which gun it was. First of all, there's video of the defendant shooting at the Secret Service agent. There is also the agent who will tell you himself that he was shot at and then he returned the fire. But more importantly, Jake, is the fact that we now can establish that a pellet that came from the buckshot from the defendant's Mossberg pump-action shotgun was intertwined with the fiber of the vest of the Secret Service officer.
So it's definitively his bullet.
It is definitively his bullet. He hit at that Secret Service agent. He had every intention to kill him and anyone who got in his way, on his way to the killing the President of the United States. This was a premeditated, violent act calculated to take down the president and anyone who was in the line of fire.
Crazy.
And you and I were both in that combat zone, and we know what it was like. It was a very dangerous situation.
Spirit.
And Secretary, let me get your take on what took place in terms of Spirit Airlines, because
plane wreck.
I know that the Democrats did not want Spirit to merge with JetBlue a year ago, and now we see that Spirit Airlines closed operations. The Treasury was supposed to be doing a deal to save this company. Can you tell us what happened?
Sure, Maria. So this is just more of the mess we inherited from the Biden administration. In September 2022, Elizabeth Warren, who loves to write letters, sent a letter to the Justice Department, to the Transport Department, saying that they should oppose the merger with Spirit Airlines. JetBlue wanted to buy them for $3.8 billion. It would have given them much more resiliency. And she and the Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg was probably the worst transportation secretary in history when he came to the office. They were against the merger, and if JetBlue had merged with Spirit, we would have all these jobs that were lost yesterday. We had 30 regional airports who have lost service, and I can tell you what happened here. It wasn't Treasury, it was Commerce that was trying to put something together, but the reason we were here was because the Biden administration opposed the merger. We shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Would have been a very different story if they would have let that go through. Oh, what? Interesting. That's pretty neat. Wow. A massive new lithium deposit just discovered in Appalachia. Massive, apparently. Enough lithium to replace 328 years of imports? That is a big deal.
This week, they found huge deposits of lithium in Appalachia. Lithium, of course, being a crucial component in EVs, crucial to the future. What does this mean for America and especially for the heartland?
being able to reduce our reliance on China, being able to reduce our reliance on foreign sources. Critical minerals, rare earth, from extraction through processing needs to be ramped up inside the United States. You hear a lot about unleashing energy dominance. We also care about batteries and magnets and chips and semiconductors. And when we have these own resources within our own country, we should not only be extracting them here, we should be processing them here, and we should do it proudly, knowing that we tap into these resources so much better for our environment than so many other countries elsewhere around the world. This was a great find. We should be tapping into these sources.
This week, they found huge.
That's pretty cool. This is mostly in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. With a little bit in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York. And a tiny sprinkle, but still significant amount, in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Vast majority in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. Huh.
Say a man drove an
One person killed after a man drove an SUV packed with explosives into a popular athletic club in Portland, Oregon.
A frightening scene in Portland, Oregon. Authorities say a man drove an SUV packed with explosives into a popular athletic club. What officials are now saying about the driver who died. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Tonight, video obtained by the Oregonian appears to show a man driving a car through an athletic club in Portland, Oregon.
Locations calling in says a vehicle drove through the front entrance and they're seeing a smoke and a large flames coming from the car.
Police say the driver intentionally rammed his car into the Multnomah Athletic Club, the largest private athletic and social club in the United States. The club telling ABC News, "We are aware of the reporting regarding the individual and can confirm there were prior interactions involving this person and members of our community." They also say he was a former employee. The Oregonian reporting some neighbors said he appeared to have a fixation with the club. The crash causing a large explosion. The driver was killed.
That vehicle continued driving inside of the Mac Club, and it was shortly found engulfed in flames by the employees who called 911.
Officers sending out robots.
All he did was burn himself to death, and that was it.
Sweep
he
the
didn't
area,
even like blow anything up.
Finding several explosive devices. The robots removing propane tanks from the scene and detonating some of the IEDs.
It looked like there was an intent to detonate more than actually ultimately was detonated.
Oopsie. The FBI working with Portland officials, this ahead of the FIFA World Cup, in which Portland will host fans and watch parties for the nearest games in Seattle.
We're hoping to get through this.
With the Portland,
man. People are losing it, I guess. Philadelphia boy who exposed his fellow classmates for being unable to read a simple sentence. That's wow. Now under threat of being blocked from graduating. All for exposing the fact that his fellow classmates are retarded. Effectively.
No, explain what read the end discourse for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were... Who's this for?
How can you not read that? I'm sorry, but...
Read the end discourse for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were... Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat...
Gauche, my dear.
Gertrude?
No, explain what that means.
I don't know. Oh!
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat
gooch. What does that mean?
You say gooch. Wait, she wore... Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a... Oh, baby. She wore a a silhouette of clothes that were. Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why I did.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche.
My
What
man.
does that mean?
You did it.
Like his clothes was nice or something like that.
With a little trouble, but you did. You got there.
I don't know what this
What
shit
matters.
say. I don't know what this shit say. I don't know what this shit say. I can't read it.
He's not even gonna try. Dude. Okay, where is this? Philadelphia, at a prep school, a charter school. The school is preparatory charter high school, and this is the quality of young people that we're putting out. These are the people that will go on to careers in medicine and engineering, building important things that your very lives depend on. Ah, yes.
California mom charged with involuntary manslaughter after her 14-year-old son allegedly struck an 81-year-old man with an e-bike.
Oh, yeah, that's
the
the story.
Vietnam veteran and substitute teacher later died from his injuries. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Tonight, a teen's alleged ride turns fatal, and his mother is now charged with involuntary manslaughter. 50-year-old Tommy Jo Meyer is behind bars after police say her 14-year-old son illegally rode an e-motorcycle and fatally struck a Vietnam veteran. 81-year-old Ed Ashman was walking home from his job as a substitute teacher when police say the teen was doing wheelies and hit him. Authorities say the teen fled the scene as Ashman lay critically injured. Ashman was a captain in the United States Marine Corps and flew combat missions in Vietnam. Ashman died in the hospital a week later from his injuries. Orange County District Attorney Todd Spitzer saying in a statement, an American hero who survived flying combat missions in Vietnam could not survive walking across the street in Lake Forest because of a 14-year-old child. The e-motorcycle allegedly involved in the collision goes up to 58 miles per hour.
Dude. Sad story all around. Okay, get back to the news. Let's see.
Acquiring U.S. farmland. Now, the farmers, you made a big move this week to keep American land out of the enemy hands, pushing through an amendment to the Farm Bill that bans adversaries such as China and Russia from acquiring U.S. farmland. Now, the Farm Bill is headed to the Senate with reports that it's already facing headwinds. Tell us about your amendment, and why do you think there's pushback in the Senate?
Because they're all gay.
Yeah, this is a huge national security risk. We should not allow the Chinese Communist Party to buy millions of acres of land around our military installations, strategically in our country. It's 46 million acres that are owned by foreign interests right now in the United States, and I want to be able to stop that to protect America, protect our military installations. And you're right, it's now going to go to the Senate, and we know the Senate likes to chop stuff up because they won't get rid of the filibuster, so they need 60 votes to pass this bill. I hope this is one of the provisions that stay there. I would imagine that Democrats also don't want the Chinese Communist Party next to our military installations, but you never know these days. But hopefully this will stay in as it goes in the negotiations in the Senate.
Eesh. Okay.
Is gone despite not funding ICE, and as Congress is gone despite not funding ICE and Border Patrol, when will they get a deal done? I could ask
American was driving a brand new 2026 car. Car gave her an alert, said it could see her eyes. Oh yeah, they do that now. Yep.
I've seen a few posts about this, and I wanted to comment on it because I have a personal experience with it.
Yep, they're watching you. Your car is watching you.
that's happening in the future. It's something that's happening now. I rented a car in Europe, and as the woman handed me the car keys, she said, "This is a brand new car." And she was like super excited about it. She was like, "It's 2026. It's a brand new car." And I was like, "Awesome. No one's had a chance to like fart or smoke in it. This will be great." And I'd driven it for a day or two, and I was getting on a highway. It was a 6-lane highway. And all of a sudden, the gas stopped working, and I'm pressing on the gas. I can't get the car to go. So the car is dinging, and it's making all this noise, and I can't figure out what's going on. And I look at the dashboard, and in English, it says, "Sit up straight. We can't find your eyes." Why do you need to see my eyes? That was my first thought. And I'm short, so I sit low in the seat, and I guess, I don't know, maybe I'd been driving a while and I'd kind of slouch down more instead of sitting upright. And when I sat upright, the gas would work once again. And so I pressed the gas, but I was slowing down enough that it was going to cause a traffic hazard. And the thing is, it knew I wasn't asleep because I was pressing on the gas. So it knew I was awake. It just wanted to see my eyes. So once I sat upright and leaned forward, I guess it did facial recognition. And then it says, "May I send you these results to a third party?" To which I said, "No, you may not."
No, you may not.
No. Who is the third party?
Uh-huh.
First of all, who's watching me drive the car to begin with?
You know who the third party is? It's a freaking guy in India. That's what it is. It's some guy in a freaking call center, whatever, in India, paid to analyze all this stuff for them.
Secondly, who is the third party you're sending it to? And lastly, it is
Ajit
so
Singh, that's who.
Dangerous. There are so many scenarios where losing control of the gas can put a car in a very dangerous situation. Like, what if I was pulling out in front of a semi-truck? What if
that is absolutely perfect scenario to display how disgusting and ridiculous this kind of shit is.
Was going over a railroad track.
Yep.
And the absolute worst part is the argument for this is to combat sleepy drivers. And the truth is, if you fall asleep while you're driving, you're not going to be pushing down all the way on the gas. You're going to let up. You're going to relax. No one keeps their foot pointed while they're asleep. And if they say, well, what about cruise control, then just take off cruise control. Disable cruise control in cars. That's the solution. Not, I need to see your eyeballs for the car to work. There's so many dangerous implications for this. Yeah. But even if you're using it just for the good implication, sleepy drivers, we need to see eyeballs at all times, it's still wrong. It's still a stupid idea.
Just plain rude, what it is. I don't want to be looked at on driving. Thank you very much. I'm fine. I don't need a nanny, an electronic nanny. Okay, Brad Cooper, CENTCOM commander, flying over the Strait of Hormuz in an Apache helicopter. That's it. Okay, yeah, it's just photos. Cool. Oh man, long time the legendary, New York Yankees radio announcer John Sterling passed away at the age of 88. Find his voice here real quick.
Well, this is why you always save a player. This is
He is part of the fabric of baseball in the biggest city in this country.
For many generations, there will only be one, the voice of the New York Yankees.
The Golden Pipes, John Sterling.
Stepping up to the microphone is the voice of the New York Yankees. Here is John Sterling.
Well, Susan, thank you. And once again, good afternoon, everyone.
Swung on it, hit in the air to deep right center. It is high, it is far, it is gone. Burn, baby, burn. A thriller by Godzilla. The Bam-Tino, the Giambino, Robbie Cano. And don't you know? Oh, he's positively swishalicious. Hell, happy time. Let the Gardy party begin. It's an A-bomb from A-Rod. The most happy fella. A Stantonian home run. Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62.
Can appreciate that enthusiasm after that long. After that long in the seat. God bless him. Rest in peace. And 88 years old. Guess he was still doing it right up to the end. Anti-ICE website called GTFO, Get the Facilities Out, has exposed nearly, GTFO ICE, has exposed nearly 18,000 of its own users after a REST API vulnerability left sensitive sign-up data just publicly accessible out in the open. Oopsie! Literally created by former DHS Chief of Staff Miles Taylor. Supposed to be... Let me find him. Also like a he's supposed to be, security expert. Moron. Oopsie. Actually, makes you wonder if he purports to be a part of the resistance inside the Trump admin, but I'm not so sure. After this, I don't know. Is that all a ruse? Is this all of this a ruse? Is he one of our guys? Setting up a honeypot and then leaking the data? Who even knows anymore? Hilarious. Okay. Big Brother's front door wide open. Must watch. YouTuber just exposed flock safety. Yeah. Got a lot of cameras.
A commercial search engine. A few weeks ago, using a commercial search engine, I very easily found the administration interfaces for dozens of flock safety cameras. I shared this information with 404 Media, and with John Gaines' help, that number quickly grew to nearly 70. None of the data or video footage was encrypted. There was no username or password required. These were all completely public-facing for the world to see, and some of them still are. You don't have to be an expert to find and gain access to this. You don't even have to type anything in to see every single person, vehicle, and activity that took place in these locations in the last 31 days. Whether you wanted to watch this footage live in real time or look at footage from a month ago, you could just point and click your way to it like you were watching Netflix. You could even open up the live streams in VLC or cast it to a television. Making any modification to the cameras is illegal, so I didn't do this, but I had the ability to delete any of the video footage or evidence by simply pressing a button. I could see the paths where all of the evidence files were located on the file system, and I could see their hashes and signatures. Some of the devices we saw were the familiar-looking Falcon cameras that you see all over the country, but the majority of these were Flock's new Condor cameras, which are designed to detect and track people. They're PTZ cameras, meaning pan, tilt, zoom, and they quite literally use AI to zoom in and follow you around whether you're a person of interest or not. In just the time that it took to count and verify these vulnerabilities, I saw a family in North Carolina Atlanta load their infant and a bunch of merchandise in a Lowe's parking lot. And I suppose one could cross-reference their license plate with the Park Mobile data breach and find out exactly where the garage is that will store these new fancy tools. I watched a man leave his house in the morning in New York. I watched a woman jogging alone on a forest trail in Georgia. This trail had multiple cameras, and I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading videos on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic irritable bowel syndrome. The couple also just had a baby last year and they have a pretty concerning debt-to-income ratio. I also know that they drove over 45 minutes from their address in the suburbs to attend church in Atlanta that morning, and then they checked out this market and bought a sweater. I watched a law enforcement officer and ambulance escort a man having a mental health crisis in Iowa. I know this because the Cedar Rapids Police Department maintains a public database of every single emergency call in the city, as well as daily arrest reports with individuals' names, addresses, ages, and genders. Listen, I know that I'm being creepy right now. Just saying these words out loud nauseates me, but I'm trying to show you just a fraction of the information that anyone in the world with access to a commercial search engine has had regarding anyone who attended this market or walked on this trail in the last 31 days. And it gets worse. Here's an exposed flock safety camera permanently pointed at a playground near the Bay Area in California, openly and publicly broadcasting both live and archived video footage of young children playing unattended. Again, just saying this stuff out loud feels so incredibly wrong. But for me personally, the most impactful moment while validating these vulnerabilities was this. This resonated with me so much that I actually had tears welling up in my eyes. I've done this exact same thing so many times. I've seen a swing set in an empty park, looked around to make sure nobody was watching, and then just enjoyed the mindless motion that connected me to a simpler time. But this isn't something that most grown men want to be seen doing. The experience requires one to have a moment that is devoid of judgment. It's healthy escapism at its finest. And I realized that it's likely that this man didn't know that he was being recorded, and he probably
But if he did, would he ever do that? Would anyone ever? How sad would that be?
This is a classic example of the Hawthorne effect, which is a change in an individual's behavior or choices when they know that they're being observed. Surveillance manufacturers love to talk about this effect when it deters crime. After all, someone isn't as likely to break into a car that's parked near a camera. But what they don't talk about is how it deters escapism. People are less likely to sing or dance or practice an accent or a cartwheel when they know that they're being watched. But escapism is often required for a lot of things. For example, when you learn an instrument or practice a skill for the first time, or even practicing line delivery for a YouTube video. The footage of the man swinging was powerful to me because it made me realize exactly why I have such a visceral objection to mass surveillance. It imposes on our right to find our own identities without judgment. And as someone whose identity and success is owed to ample amounts of escapism, this is a hill that I am willing to die on.
I don't know who this guy is, but that is excellent content right there. Very good. And I, I just
weeks ago using a
people steal that shit and then don't link who the person is. Worst people. People like this. This guy. You. Guy. Content thief. I'm talking about here. When? A couple hours ago. When a devastated Van Jones of CNN came to me with a group of African American leaders he had dead in getting criminal justice reform approved in Congress. That is awkwardly worded. I don't know quite what he's trying to say there. Van Jones and these black reps had been unsuccessfully fighting to get reform for many years. He was just wasting everyone's time. He needed 5 conservative senators. There was no chance or even hope for a win. And like some of the people he was with agreed with what they were saying, quickly rounded up the votes, get criminal justice reform approved. Not easy. Nobody else, including Obama, who tried for years, could have done this. Now I watch this guy, Van Jones, every chance he gets calling me a dictator, and far worse, be ashamed of himself. They have Van Jones' scumbag. Nothing new. Goofy. DNC insiders reportedly looking to oust Ken Martin as heir over financial woes. Oh, they having money troubles.
I want to start with the 2024 autopsy, which you call an after-action review. When you won the chairmanship in February of 25, you criticized the DNC's refusal to release their 2016 autopsy as exactly what not to do. You said, quote, was there any utility in doing that? And then promised your 2024 autopsy would be different. Your exact quote was, of course it will be released. Why did you change your mind on that?
Well, look, I mean, what I said all along, even when I ran for this position, is that we were going to focus on the things that will help us win the upcoming election, right? Making sure that we learn the right lessons that could help inform our victories. And that's what we've done. We said this when we sent out the press release back in November saying we weren't going to release the report. We were going to actually keep our focus on those lessons, and we released those lessons. We continue to do that. So it's not completely accurate to say that we didn't release that. Where we're keeping our focus is on the lessons that can actually help us win.
On this show in August, you told me this about releasing the review, quote, we have to do it to give people who invested so much time, energy, and money a sense of what happened and why we lost.
Why could they have possibly lost?
Especially why we lost. So what changed between August and December? I understand there are lessons, but those are not the full report. Why not release the full report? What's in the report that you wouldn't want to publicize?
Yeah, there's no smoking gun in the report. And I know that's...
I'm sorry, what?
That's what everyone's so eager to learn. I mean, the smoking gun. Guess what, John?
But if there's no smoking gun, why wouldn't you just release it?
Yeah, because we want to keep the focus on the lessons.
Then why wouldn't you release the report?
Because what ends up happening
what?
Here is that people, of course, want to weaponize the report in a way to look backwards, to point fingers, place blame in a way that actually doesn't keep us focused on the upcoming election. But instead, the navel gazing of focusing backwards actually takes us backwards. We're 189 days from this election, John.
Man, that is.
We don't need to be,
I've never seen someone jump through so many hoops. Like
be focused on is actually
insane.
Litigating 2024. What we need to do is learn the lessons of 24 and the years preceding that can help us win this upcoming election. I get why people are obsessed with it, because there's various groups and organizations and people who think there's some sort of smoking gun in there. Guess what, John? In the third closest presidential election in the last 100 years, everything mattered. There's nothing that didn't impact that election.
Why did you spend the money going to 50 states, doing all these interviews, doing all this stuff, and doing this report in the first place, if you weren't going to release the full results of it? Like, why? Well, I don't get why just you and some of the senior DNC people get to see it, but not most of the DNC members who are, state party chairs. I mean, more than a dozen DNC members told NBC just the other week they want it released, including Congresswoman Delia Ramirez and North Carolina Democratic Party Chair Anderson Clayton. And Anderson said, quote, genuinely, what did you all find that we did not?
I hope someone leaks it. I would be surprised if that happens, actually. Whoa. Wow. I did not know that they had started doing that in the first place. That is insanely creepy. Roblox lost 20 million daily users since it started demanding facial scans and ID uploads to access basic features. Half the platform now stuck in a degraded version where the path back runs through, well, giving up your biometric data, yeah. People are voting with their absence. Yep. Heck no. It's crazy. Yeah, I heard about this. Interesting move on their part. Amazon opening their entire logistics network, freight distribution, fulfillment, and parcel shipping to every business of all types and sizes. So, I guess they're coming for UPS and FedEx. Or at least for the enterprise side of things, which is probably where they make all their money anyway.
For the last more than 60 years, the president has kicked off National Small Business Week. They make up 99% of all businesses in this country, and in fact, they make up 98% of all manufacturers. So this Small Business Day at the White House is about President Trump celebrating the economic agenda that is driving a restoration on main streets across this country. Last night, we honored the National Small Business winner and winners from across 50 states, as well as our top veterans business winner, rural business, blue-collar business winners. And we see these are the hard-working men and women. They're the ingenuity, the risk-taking that they do. It's at the heart of American enterprise that really created this country's exceptionalism 250 years ago. In fact, our founders were small businessmen. And so we're really...
Better skip forward here a little bit. Just interesting. John Ossoff silent on SPLC indictment after taking more than $700,000 from affiliate of indicted group. Hold up. Federal prosecutors stunning indictment of left-wing activist group, the SPLC, for alleged financial crimes, reverberating in Georgia's 2026 Senate race, with Republicans targeting Senator John Ossoff for his past ties to the organization. The group contributed more than $700,000 to his campaign in 2020. Whoa, a lot of money. Georgia Democrat has praised the group's purported efforts to combat racism. That's funny. Wow. Interesting. I cannot wait to see where that case starts to go as things start to play out. It's going to be a while before I think we get like real movement there, but it's how the courts work. The whole system works, fortunately. Just crawls at a effing snail's pace. Until it doesn't. Until one day it doesn't, you know, and then things happen. Going to be interesting to see where it finally ends up stretching to. Ambassador Greer, I don't know. U.S. Great. Let me see this.
Remember last summer, go back to Turnberry, President Trump struck a deal with President von der Leyen and the European Union where the United States would adjust its tariffs. We have 25.
LA mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt surging in the race. Mail-in ballots are being sent out to voters today. Oh yeah, Pratt's running for mayor.
Pratt, we all knew him from the reality show, and decades ago. Was it like 20 years
and then,
ago? He and Heidi
what's his
were.
name? He's running for governor, right? He drawing a blank on his last name, but Paul guy. The accent.
Were on that reality show about California, and now he's running for the mayor of Los Angeles because he lost his house in the Palisades fire and nothing is being built back, and he's furious about it. He centered his whole campaign on her failed leadership because she was off in Ghana celebrating while these houses were burning down.
She's the worst. She's absolutely an
Oh,
embarrassment.
she's so disgusting. Yep.
She was a terrible congresswoman who spent more time in Cuba than in America.
I'm convinced she is like, she's part of something evil. She's in a cult. Some kind of like fucked up. There's something going on with that lady.
And now she never should have got that job. Rick Caruso, if the people of Los Angeles were sober, would have got that job, and then nothing in Pacific Palisades would have been saved.
And the trip she took to Ghana, of course, was after everybody predicted that the wildfires were going to hit. Here is a Spencer Pratt mayoral ad that is going viral, and it is a fantastic ad. Watch this.
This is where Mayor Vass lives. You notice something? This is where I live. They let my home burn down. I know what the consequences of failed leadership are.
And this is Karen Bass's response.
Honestly, before this, I had never heard of Spencer Pratt. The thing I am concerned and feel about him is that I feel like he's exploiting the grief of people in the Palisades, and I think that's
that's funny.
Reprehensible.
It's never exploiting. Well, whatever the issue of the day is, when they do it, they're not exploiting the issue because they really care.
That's the main thing, and I think he is about his own celebrity.
He's exploiting his own grief,
So
apparently.
insane.
He lost everything. He has to live in that trailer on his property now so that he can run for
That woman's fucking evil, man.
mayor in that district. Look at what their house looks like now. Everything is gone. He's not exploiting anybody's grief. He's living it.
So he came back and said, Karen always likes to talk about her experience and never your experience.
Disgusting.
But even he has called out Elon Musk, close friend of yours. He's one of the biggest AI entrepreneurs in the industry right now. He's famously not a fan of government bureaucracy or intervention, but even he has called AI the biggest threat to the survival of the human race, right? He's been a supporter of government regulation, including independent safety boards and industry developed standards. Do you disagree with him on that?
Well, a little bit. I mean, I think Elon is maybe a little bit more pessimistic than I am. I mean, on these topics.
I'd say definitely. I mean, that's what's so fascinating is you guys, I think you align on so much stuff, but it does seem like you've come to different conclusions on this one.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's basically in a place where he acknowledges that AI is going to be developed regardless. And so what we want to do is remain in control of it. I mean, I don't think we want to hamstring U.S. development to such a point where, again, then China just wins the AI race. So I think he understands that the technology is moving forward, and we should develop it in a way that allows us to remain in control. So an area, for example, that I agree with him on is we want the AI to be as truthful as possible. And he's pointed out that if you teach the AI to lie, like let's say, you teach it to be woke or whatever, that's very dangerous because then the AI can lie to us about what it's doing. That's not what we want to inculcate in AI. I very much agree with that. By the way, it's not like I don't think there's any potential dangers or risks of AI. I mean, I do acknowledge that there are potential dystopian futures we don't want. In my view, the most likely dystopian future would be something described by George Orwell in 1984, as opposed to James Cameron in The Terminator. My view of it is that the biggest danger is that the government will ultimately use AI to surveil us, control us, censor us, like that kind of thing. And to me, that should be the thing that we should be most afraid of, is a marriage of government and corporate power around AI. By the way, that is the path that I think we were on before President Trump's election. If you go back to the Biden executive order on AI, there were really two major things that it did. One was it said that DEI values, which is to say, all the woke stuff, should be promoted in AI models. And that's how you ended up with, that Black George Washington controversy around that first release of the Google Gemini model.
Interesting to hear that from David Sachs. Okay. Okay. There's a confidence-building measure by the United States of America. 22 crew members held aboard the seized Iranian container ship, the Tuska, have been evacuated to Pakistan. Whoa, Trump pulled thousands of U.S. troops out of Germany? Missed that one. That's a big deal. What happened? Bessent, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says Americans should be concerned about AI hacking their bank accounts. Well, more like people using AI hacking their bank accounts. At least for the time being. Not gonna just go do it on its own.
They want to turn America into... The problem is, when the Democrats have the chance, they will end the filibuster. They want to turn America into a one-party nation. They'll pack the Supreme Court. They'll turn D.C., Puerto Rico into states. They will nationalize our elections, automatic registration, mail-in balloting. So we need to stop them. And the only way we can stop them is end the filibuster now, pass election integrity reforms so that only American citizens can vote and you have basic controls over the election. So again, I'm just being practical. They're going to do it. We ought to do it before that for the benefit of the American people, to secure our borders, to secure our elections, not turn America into a one-party nation is what the Democrats would do with it. The problem is, when the Democrats have the chance, they will...
Trump supporting protesters and counter-protesters showed up at Minocqua Brewing Company in Minocqua, Wisconsin, after the bar advertised that free beer would be served when President Trump dies. That's just disgusting. Wow. Some websites have figured out how to outsmart Google's AI overview system, planting spam in the site's code. Stealthily poison the AI summary. Like the next big thing. Figuring out how to manipulate these things like this. People that figure out how to do this stuff are be able to demand big money. Crazy. To get reliable information, people have to click on the actual search results instead. Wow. California to begin sending out mail-in ballots for the California governor's race tomorrow, May 4th, or today. Every single registered voter statewide will apparently be mailed a ballot. Every single one. Even though voter regulation is on the honor system, you don't need to be a citizen to register. All you have to do is just check a box. I'm sure nobody abuses that. Yeah. Right? We can trust each other. Especially the Mexicans. What? Is that for real? Get out of here. That is insane. Whoa. Rare phenomenon of iridescent clouds. Sunlight behind the cloud interacting with lingering raindrops. Like, you know, rainbows. And kind of the same thing that forms rainbows, but with big ass cloud. And it's just nuts. So neat. All right, anything else here? SPLC indictment shows partisan activists were running the FBI domestic terror program. What the heck? Hold up. I gotta tag that for later. Gotta read that. That, guarantee you, highly relevant to the Whitmer case.
And I have discussed it. My counterpart, the vice premier, and I have discussed it. And you know, the New York Times story, like the New York Times, is always ridiculous. China always seeks an advantage. They seek an advantage in everything. You know, they seek an advantage in the seating chart. So you know, this isn't unusual. And you know, let's see if China. Let's see them step up with some diplomacy and get the Iranians to open the strait.
You've said that twice now. Do you expect Beijing and President Xi to do something with regard to Iran?
Again, all I will say is Iran is the largest state sponsor of terrorism, and China has been buying 90% of their energy, so they are funding the largest state sponsor of terrorism. But more importantly, Iran, the threat of attacks from Iran has closed the strait. We are reopening it, so I would urge the Chinese to join us in supporting this international operation. You know, there are things moving through the UN that China and Russia have blocked.
Wow. All right. Well, I suppose that does it for me, you guys, for the day. I'll be back tomorrow, though. Yeah, got my share off here. So Fedora is here. Yes, he is. How you doing, man?
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, doing pretty good. Getting some things done with my main PC over between shows anyway. Nice. So cool. Yeah, making some progress finally. 6 months ago I said yeah, I got to get over on Linux, and I'll tell you what, it's been probably 5 years since I was on Linux totally, and I completely forgot how snappy it is.
It's quick.
And I'm looking forward to using it to get work done quick.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty neat, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah. So,
Voila.
Well, you have a great day. You don't have to work today.
Yeah, I get to get relaxed. Thank goodness, I need it. Yep.
Yeah. All righty. Well, I'll take over from
good,
here.
brother. Have a good show.
All right. Hey, everybody.